called a game in San Antonio a couple weeks ago when they played Golden State in the Alamo Dome. It was the game that set the attendance record. And one of the great thrills for me now calling games is that before every game, you know this, you get to spend about 15 minutes with each head coach. And when I was with Pop, one of the questions I asked him was about the juice for him, having accomplished so much, having been with one team for so long. Now they're in a rebuilding situation. There's clearly something that is addictive about the coaching piece. And he listed a few things, but one of the things that really stood out was he said, I love figuring out which buttons to push for each individual player. And I think the only way to do that right, of course, you have to get their respect, right? But I think the only way to do that right is to invest in the relationship. And that can often be, at least as a teammate for me, that can often be one of the most challenging things about building a culture, because that's a two-way street, if that makes sense.
Right. No, for sure. It's like they have to buy into you as well. And you know as well as I know, the one thing that NBA players can do quicker than anybody is smell bullshit, right? So if you're fake or you're fraudulent, like they're going to smell you out. And once they smell you out, there's no coming back from that. So, being able to be genuine and, the way I see it, JJ, is like, as NBA people, right, we've got the greatest jobs on the planet. We are extremely fortunate and blessed to be where we are. So why would you want to be the guy to mess that up, right? So, we just try to make it a place where people can continue to enjoy it. Like, we're going to work hard. We're going to get after it. But we want people to be the best version of themselves. Like, we don't ask Darius to be Donovan to be Jarrett to be Evan. Like, these are all different guys. So whatever it is that makes you the most comfortable, you're allowed to be who you are. And I think, in that type of environment where people feel comfortable being themselves, they can flourish. And that's what team is all about. But that's what the environment is about. Even more important is like, how can I make this guy from this place feel so comfortable that this guy from this other place can feel so comfortable, and they both can be the best versions of themselves, because that's what we're aiming for at the end of the day.
Kevin Love came on the podcast last season and talked about the prior season. And there was a few incidents. I think he took the ball out of bounds one time and just tossed it into the other team. There was a couple other times that the body language wasn't great. And he was open about it and how he didn't like his behavior. And now, 2 seasons after that, it looks like he's having the time of his life. I mean, last year, in the running for Sixth Man of the Year, he's having another productive season this year. Specifically with him on that buy-in talk, like, how did you get Kevin to buy into a new role on a developing team?
Just being honest, and this goes back, Kevin and I was in Minnesota when we drafted Kevin. I was one of the assistant coaches on that staff. So that goes back 15 years now, I believe. And going through the ups and downs of his rookie year, but just, developing those relationships from back then. And you never know what the circle of NBA life is going to be and where you're going to end up and who you're going to be working with. But, Kevin is about the team. And that's the most important thing, is like, he understands who he is and how he fits and the impact that he can have on younger players and the positive influence that he can have on guys. And he's taken pride in that. He's been great for his teammates. Give him so much credit for being, an all-star, a champion, Olympic gold medalist, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. And, the willingness to sacrifice and take a step back for the greater good of a team isn't easy for guys who have gone through those things and accomplished those things. But he took it head on, and he was willing to sacrifice. And I say this all the time, his sacrifice gave me the ability to coach our team in a different way. Him and Ricky Rubio, like, them taking bench roles and sacrificing for the greater good of the team. There wasn't one of our young guys who could say anything about sacrifice, because those two guys set the example.
We hope you had fun with us today. We hope you laughed. We hope you had fun with us today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button.